Hi guys, it's DJ Cuppy here, and you are watching Media Spotlight UK. Mwah. I don't wanna be lonely. Need me someone to hold me, tease me, please me, excuse me. I don't wanna be lonely. Need me someone to hold me, tease me, please me.
Hi, you're watching Media Spotlight UK. I'm Jen Wakefield, and I'm lucky enough to be sitting with someone who I'd consider to be a triple threat performer, but not as you know it, okay? This lady is a DJ, a producer, and a singer-songwriter.
Ooh,
Is that right?
yes, absolutely.
I'm with the glorious DJ Cuppy!
Yay!
Or is it just Cuppy you like to be known
Well,
as?
it's a lot of people, because of how I started as a DJ, a lot of people consider me DJ Cuppy, but
Okay.
everyone calls me Cuppy, so you can call me Cuppy.
Yeah, I like Cuppy. It's like that standalone brand name. Cuppy.
But thank you so much for having me,
No.
Media Spotlight. I'm excited.
Of course, I'm excited. I'm very excited, mainly because when I got asked to do this interview, I was like, this is going to be a mirror of looking back of what I dreamed I could be.
Oh, stop it.
No, seriously, like I started a little DJ course a couple of years ago, and I loved it. But, you know, I guess it takes a lot of persistence.
It really does. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of doing like 10 things at the same time.
Right.
Because every day there's a new song.
Yes.
So you got to just...
You've got to be on the edge of it, like really tuned into what's going on around you. And yeah, I really admire you. So I was very excited.
Well, it's never too late.
No,
Maybe
it's
we can be a
true.
DJ duo.
Yes, watch this space, yeah. So, Cuppy, one thing I'm really interested in talking about with you is the fact that education is very important to you.
Absolutely.
And I know that you graduated from King's College.
I
is
did.
That right?
Yeah, so I did my undergrad at King's College London. I studied economics.
Okay.
For 3 years, got a bachelor's degree, and then after that, I went on to do a master's in music at NYU.
Yes, this is what I've been reading about. So you've
Very
done
exciting.
you've done an undergrad, master's on top of everything else you're doing.
And being a DJ, yeah. I mean, you know, but for me, you know, after my undergrad, which was more kind of my parents, you know, it's difficult coming from a family full of entrepreneurs.
yeah.
You
imagine.
know, there was definitely pressure when I said I want to be a DJ, because it's only now that DJs are getting the recognition they deserve.
Yeah.
So it's always good to have something to fall back on. So my education was very important to me. And really, my economics degree has only allowed me to be a businesswoman.
Yes.
In what I do. But of course, after doing all that, I decided, you know, it's great being a DJ, but I really want to understand how my market works.
Right.
You know, it's great going out, meeting people, having meetings, but I wanted to really be essentially like a qualified professional in music. So I took 2 years, got up, left London, went to New York on my own, and got a degree in music, a master's degree in music.
It's so admirable, Cuppy, because I feel like a lot of people, and I think this is maybe a bit of a kind of result of being a millennial. You know, there's a lot of this kind of feeling of wanting something instantly, wanting something that looks glamorous, wanting it instantly, and not really understanding what it takes to get there. And I think by you know, doing this, you know, this degree and your studies based around, you know, business management, did you say?
Yes,
No?
business management, economics.
Economics, and then obviously understanding the music business, you're able to take what you do and elevate yourself, and that's really smart.
You're so right with what you said. A lot of us young people are too much in a hurry, and you know, great things take time. A lot of people said you're wasting your time. I mean, look at the DJs that leave school and just go straight to a, you know, uni. You spent 5 years of your life in university, and you know, I'm really proud to say I don't think that I'm far off of the people that didn't do that. If anything, it gives me an edge. I've gotten through my education. I've got to meet amazing people. You know, I've DJed for 2 presidential inaugurations.
Wow.
I'm working with the Commonwealth. You know, I've done a lot of exciting things, even with the UN. And this comes from just being a bit more than a DJ.
I want to know actually how you've used this to build your brand, because I think it's sensible to think about ourselves as brands these days. I know sometimes it can sound a bit cringe.
No,
but
it 100%, 100%. So I've used my background and my life experiences, living in New York, living in London, living in Lagos, going to university. I've used that in every way to, create my Cuppy brand. Now, my Cuppy brand, like we've said, and you keep saying, is multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
It's really kind of on the foundation of a great female DJ.
Yeah.
That is, loves playing Afrobeat music and is very international. And now it's sort of built its own stems. Producing is something I've always done, actually. I produced before I became a DJ, but really and truly producing for me has been difficult in the sense of, when I first started, there was a certain type of sound.
Okay.
Actually, I have a very funny story. I did a competition for my 16th birthday when I was a producer.
Oh, right.
And Davido actually won it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you were in the same competition?
No, so I held the competition together.
You held it?
As a producer for artists to sort of perform.
Right.
On top the beats I made, and Davido won it. As a producer, it's hard when the times are changing. You have to adapt your sound. So with DJing, obviously it's great. You just get to play records. But I always say that people that DJ are also producers because we mix records. We create new sounds out of two records together.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it makes sense having, being in those two arenas. And it's interesting because you said you were producing before you were a DJ, is that right? So how did you get into producing?
I got into producing out of the love for music, really. Being a young teenager, I always used to go out. I was lucky enough to have a lot of friends in Nigeria that were artists.
Right, okay.
So I remember when I was like 11, I got to hang out with people like D'banj.
Oh, wow.
These are kind of like our big kind of like godfathers of music back home. And, again, just being in that environment, being very sociable, being an extrovert, always kind of the life of the party.
Yeah.
From maybe a bit too much of a young age. I was used to that environment. And there was a scenario where there was this particular club I used to go to all the time in Lagos. And Nigerian traffic is like the worst traffic in the world.
I've heard this
It's
before.
disgusting. So, one day the DJ was in traffic and I was friends with the club owner. And, the whole time when the DJ is there, I'm always in the booth partying.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, oh, the DJ is late. You know how to play? Can you just put something on? And I put something on and I just really got into it, and I probably wasn't that good, but I was good enough, right?
Yeah.
So 20 minutes later, I look up and the DJ's there. He's like,
oh,
I've been here for a while, but I, thought I'd leave you to it. So I would say that was my first official gig.
Afrobeats to me, I love Afrobeats. I do genuinely listen to Afrobeats because I find it's so uplifting. And it's just got this, you just want to move to it.
Yeah, it's the beat. So there's actually a reason behind that. It's the way the beat is formed, it's the syncopation, and it's a formula that's used, and that's how you recognize an Afrobeat record.
See.
And it's amazing being in the studio and seeing how it's made.
Right. Moving into talking about when you're actually there and you're on a night,
okay,
and you're DJing and you have a crowd, okay, and you need to think about what you're going to do to make this the best night, do the best you can do. How do you know, firstly, how to read them, knowing when to sort of bring them up or bring them down or bring in something or take a risk? How do you make those judgments?
First of all, it depends on how much vodka I've had. I'm joking. As far as risk taking, if I've had a drink, I'm definitely gonna drop the Macarena anywhere.
I love that.
But first of all, I try and make sure I do a bit of work beforehand.
Okay.
Any seasoned DJ will tell you that it's important. You have playlists already there.
Right.
You have files. You're organized. It's natural. I can drop a record and I automatically know what record will work afterwards.
Okay.
That's just from experience.
Yeah.
But I have prepped for certain gigs. I remember I prepped for someone's 50th, and I got a bit of a sort of quite a safe playlist together, classics. And then I get there and they're asking me for gigs. I'm like, okay, well,
amazing.
Hey, let's go. But no, it's really exciting. And I feel like it's a journey. I like to not peak too early. In the past, actually, when I was young, I used to mix really quick. And I've learned to actually enjoy the song as well.
And take your time,
Take my time, And, you know, the more experience I've gotten, the bigger my clientele, you know, people actually like to enjoy music. And, you know, whereas in clubs, a lot of bang, 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 bang. You know, a lot of private events. Like I said, I DJ'd for the presidential inauguration.
Yes.
You know, you got to kind of get to the second chorus.
Cuppy, did they ask for gigs at the presidential inauguration?
No, they did not. So I DJ'd for the presidential inauguration for the Nigerian president.
Amazing.
And the Ghanaian president as well.
That's
and
so
it was
amazing.
So amazing. Lots of Afrobeats.
Yes.
Lots.
I would have loved to have been at that party. Okay, so we have to talk about Greenlight.
Yes, obviously.
Now, my description of Greenlight is like, I would liken it to dipping your hand into a packet of Skittles. It's sweet and it's vibrant and it tastes good. So I love it. I think it's addictive. It's like, I feel like I could listen to it over and over.
Greenlight is like the most exciting thing I have done with my career so far. I am so proud of Greenlight. It's my first official single.
Well done.
And I have I feel so blessed, like the amazing Tekno, you know, on my first single. Greenlight is a record that came through, I guess, a bit of a journey. I always wanted to do a record, but I wasn't really sure where to start, how to kick it off, how involved I wanted to be. A lot of DJs just get artists to do the whole thing, but Tekno really pushed me with this one.
Right, okay. And in terms of like the collaborative process, was it very collaborative?
It 100% was. So we recorded Greenlight in 3 different countries.
Oh, wow.
Over 3 months. We did some recording and mainly some writing in London. We did recording in Lagos and in New York. And, you know, it took a while because we were both traveling. Tekno is a perfectionist. The video, which is, it was my first video.
Well, you look banging in it, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And, you know, I've been so excited, literally, like, we've had such amazing feedback. So obviously for me, it's my first video. So I'm sitting at home in Lagos and then I come up on MTV and I'm like, oh, that's me. You know, we got 500,000 views in a week, which is really
insane.
Yeah, for a first record, I think that's really good. So, you know, for me, the whole project has been amazing. And I really, I'm so grateful to Tekno for, I guess, really pushing me because, you know, a lot of artists and big artists as well, they've said, Cuppy, let's work together, but they're just giving me a song. Tekno forced me to get involved in the creative element.
I love that. You know what? Because you are not a side chick. Like, you're not going to be someone's side chick. I can tell this right now. And we're living in such a time, though, where, you know, this especially this past couple of weeks, you know, women are the biggest topic right now. There's a lot of controversy, a lot of things going on, and we're speaking up for ourselves more than ever.
100%.
And I think it's really poignant.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I definitely know what you mean. We are definitely taking what is ours. We're I feel like a lot of women these days were realizing, I mean, you don't really need a man. No.
You don't.
We don't need you. We don't need you guys.
We don't need you. Sorry. We're just putting it out there, but it's true. You know, times have been changing for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time.
But it's a real time this last couple of weeks of people waking up and seeing what's going on, and that's why, you know, talking about you and what you're doing is so poignant as a trailblazer, and like I said, leaving that door open. So it's really an honor to talk about it. And
but I think it's really important to note as well. I'm still on an experimental journey. You know, I tell a lot of young girls back home in Nigeria, I haven't figured everything out. I'm still 24. Like, I make mistakes. I have bad days. You know, my life is not perfect. You know, sometimes I have bad gigs. Sometimes I'm not happy. You know, it's not all a fairy tale, but it's really about making sure that I don't know. Don't want to say I've become a bit sort of spiritual, but I think everything happens for a reason.
Definitely.
And the minute I started just accepting that, I stopped stressing myself more. Because I remember when I moved to London, you know, this time that I spoke about when I realized you know, I had come off such a high in New York. I had made a lot of money. I came here expecting so much to happen, and it wasn't happening. I started getting frustrated.
Yeah.
I'd be on Instagram, and I'll, you know, maybe a brand or an organization will want to book me for something, and then they'll email back and say, oh, actually, we're going with someone else. And then I'll see who they picked instead, and I'll say to my manager, oh, why not me? What am I doing wrong? And, you know, the minute I stopped caring about all that, that's when I started getting really happy, and I started really putting myself out there, and I have not looked back since.
Like I said, I think you're a trailblazer for that, and a tastemaker. And on that note as well, what's popping right now in Nigeria that we in the UK don't know about?
I mean, I've just come back from Lagos. There's a lot of stuff going on. You know, I have to say it's been a great year music-wise, as always. You know, there's the EMAs coming out, the MTV, most of the African nominees are Nigerian, of course.
Yes, Nigeria.
And it's been a great year. You know, we've got huge records from, you know, people like Davido, like I said. We've got Wizkid, who had an album. Tiwa Savage is doing great things as well. Then we've got Mr Eazi. Mr Eazi's a great friend of mine.
Yes, you did a track called
I did a track Fight. Yeah, I did a record with him. It was amazing. I mean, he's done so well in the UK. I've worked with him as well. And he's doing big things. He had a couple of big records as well. And then we've got, of course, I can't forget my darling Tekno.
Oh, yeah.
Who had Pana, who was...
Amazing.
Pana for me is like literally, I would say, the biggest crossover record.
Right.
I mean, people might want to argue with me, but I cannot think of I've been to like the most random places, and they're playing Pana. Like, it was such a big song. So it's really been another big year. And in Lagos, you know, the same old thing, new songs coming out every day. You know, there's exciting projects. I'm doing Cactus on the roof in Lagos. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I'm taking that from London.
You really are international.
London to Lagos. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to do a series of that. I heard rumors that, you know, Cardi B is going out to Lagos soon. And so is Big Shaq. Man's not hot.
Names are so juicy.
Yes.
Yeah, baby, why not freeze me? Oh.
Baby, let me tell you something. I love your green light, baby, pump, pump. On my chair, baby, one thing. I see the green light, I love the green light.
So baby, why need for me go? I want to see you go, though. Baby, really come and go.